Play ball! Blue 22!
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bri Man.
All right, take two. Let's see what we got here. All right, so far, it seems like my voice is on point.
How about mine?
Woo! That's great. Great news.
Good.
Great news. That's fantastic.
Okay.
All right. So far everything's good. We are here back with Sports and Sorts. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks. Has it been a month? Has it been a month?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
The last time we did this, we spun the wheel and we came up with the Recast a movie, which is White Men Can't Jump. We are excited to do that today. Talk a little bit about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Bri Man's going to give his quick little recap and review. You already heard a little bit. You heard our first stream a few minutes ago. He was moving in slow motion, but his words
much
were
like
fast
us
and fury-filled.
Much like us, the Peacock streaming service had some lag issues. So that was the story for a little while last night during that pay-per-view.
Which is exciting for, I mean, we don't have the budget per se, like we don't have the budget, say, like of an NBC. I'm going to say
no.
So having some latency issues is expected on our end. Having some latency issues on a pay-per-view event on a major network.
It's not what you want.
It's not what you want. No, it's not. It's kind of like, which will dive us right into the Yankees. They have this year have not been playing as you would want.
They have not been what you want.
And we will be talking about if they should be buyers or sellers, aka blow up the team to maybe something like 2016, getting rid of Andrew Miller, and also Aroldis Chapman, and seeing what they could get. And they got some good prospects in return. So should they do something like that again? Maybe this time with maybe someone like Aaron Judge. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. We'll also be talking NBA Finals a little bit. And of course, we are going to end the show today with The White Man Can't Jump. Recast a movie, which I'm very excited about. And then, of course, we'll spin the wheel at the end to see what we're going to talk about next time. But,
I'm very not excited about it because I don't know. I did it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like right after our last show. Mm-hmm. And I haven't changed any of the name. I'm not confident in it. I went like big budget.
Yeah, why not?
Like I wanted like big names.
If they're going to if they're going to reboot it, right? Recast the movie, it's going to be bigger names.
Sure, of course.
I mean, and you can't even say that because Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes were big names at the time, but it was a lower budget movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Even though that you had some decent names, it was still a lower budget movie. Rosie Perez, she was kind of like the 80s. And so it was like Woody, and Wesley was more in the 90s, but like still like Woody's kind of transcended decades. He's just kind of kept on reinventing himself, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, he really has.
And he's really done a great job just kind of keeping a name for himself. Wesley Snipes, on the other hand, had a bit of tax problem. And he ended up leaving us for a while, but has kind of, made a little bit of redemption story.
He's back a little bit here and there.
Rosie Perez has done the same. She's had some, TV stuff, and she's pretty good. I'm excited to do this, just because I want to see what your take is on it. We're still having some lag issues, but it's not anywhere near as bad. I want to see where you're at. I want to see where I'm at. I want to see if we can between the two of us, get something really good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still lagging. I don't know. Maybe it's my computer. It might be my computer. I don't know. I have no idea, man. This is a catastrophe.
We're gonna do the best we can with what we have.
Yeah,
That's all you can ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit some stuff here. Make sure that my computer's not too bogged down. All right. Yep, still lagging, but we can only do what we can do. Maybe it's a high quality. I don't know. I have to figure out what's going on with this lag. because we've been having it for a while, but it's really bad today. I don't know why. All right, so I'll do some stuff on my end and for the next show, not this show, and but in the meantime, let's get into what are we going to talk about? What do we start about? You want to talk about NBA or the Yankees?
Yankees. Let's start there.
Oh, okay. So let's get into
the state of the Yankees.
It's good.
All right, let's talk about the Yankees. We have a little bit of Yankees to talk about here. Why is this not working? Man, there's like so many issues. So many issues. It's playing on the TV. What the deuce, man? Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. This is like hot mess. That's what this is. All right, there we go. Now I can hear it. Better, right? We can hear it. You can hear it now, right? Get a little music in the background.
I hear it.
All right.
I do.
All right. So let's get into it. Yankees. Yankees are struggling. I had their. Let's see. I pulled up their. I say they're struggling, but they did just have a good series. They beat the Sox, and they are really struggling with staying healthy. As we've been saying a lot over the last several years.
The bottom half of their lineup is unrecognizable.
It really is. It's pretty bad.
I mean, Greg Allen, Ryan LeMaire. I mean, like these are as far as I'm concerned, these people could have been on the back of a milk carton. I have no idea who these people are. Who are these guys? As Joe Pacetto would say, these are the New York Yankees. What are we looking at here?
What we're looking at is a team decimated by injuries and COVID and all that kind of stuff. It happened. It's been happening a lot lately.
And also, come on, like we're supposed to be past the. How are people still getting COVID? Anti-vaxxers.
You know why?
I know why. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it.
It's a pretty easy reason why. I mean, there's a lot of people who just don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah, apparently half of the country.
Is it smart? No. And that's that. But anyway, so
I don't want to go down that I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It'll get ugly. And like, because the weird part is, even though it's not a political discussion, it somehow is. So that's very upsetting in and of itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the politicians have made it political.
They have.
So, I mean, that's just how it is. But anyway, we'll get into the Yankees and their issues so far this year. So far, they're having a pretty difficult time just staying on the field, staying healthy. But at the same time, they are just kind of going through the motions, it seems like, most of the time. I mean, there's a certain few that I think you can tell are really putting forth a good effort and trying to put the team on their back, like Garrett Cole, and time has come out and just absolutely like thrown the whole team on his back and just like carried them across the finish line of a game. And you always know that DJ LeMahieu's trying his best, whether he's playing well or not. He hasn't been playing great this year at the bat, but he's starting to get a little hotter. He's playing a little bit better over the last several games. I mean, he's got like a 28 game on base streak or something like that.
Base streak, yeah, 28, 29, I think.
And doing really well there. They just had a good series against the Sox where they won 3 out of 4.
No, 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. I couldn't remember if it was a 3.
Well, they had that one game postponed.
Oh, right. That's right.
That's going to be made up as part of a doubleheader or something in August,
yeah.
I think.
Right, that's right. I forgot about that. All right.
So it ends up being another series win.
Yeah, so they won the series.
I think makes 3 series wins in a row because they had the Seattle series win, which also ended in disappointment because they had an opportunity for a sweep. Mm-hmm. Then there was the the season ender, as far as I'm concerned, which was because they could have gone into the break sweeping the Astros and had you really feeling good about life until that cheating little fucking prick, Jose Altuve, did it again. And listen, and it was, they were up 7-2 going into the ninth. You're thinking, okay, they're going to sweep the Astros. They're going to head into the break strong. They're going to be 5 games above 500, which is not great, but at least it would have been like, a nice number, right?
Yeah.
Five above 500, come out of the break, look to maybe try and at worst split with the Sox. If you're lucky, maybe win the series. And they couldn't do it. They could not put the Astros away. They couldn't even, what was funny about that inning too? It's not like it was one of those innings where that bottom of the ninth against the Astros, it's not like it was one of those innings where like, it was close. They had, 2 outs and 2 strikes on the final batter, and they were 1 strike away from winning. They got 1 out in the inning. The Astros just completely took batting practice that inning. Yeah. And what was funny? I'm texting with the Yankee chat group, and we all knew it. Like, we literally all knew it because the Astros were down 2. It had then gotten to 7-5, and there were 2 men on. And with Altuve coming up to the plate, and I texted the group, but we all knew it. I texted the group. I said, I have never been more sure in my entire life that a guy is going to hit a home run than I am right now. And then within, a couple of pitches, it was over. Altuve took him deep to left, and that was it.
Wow. And
that ended the season. To me, that was the season ender. That was the nail in the coffin. That was the stake through the vampire's heart. I don't want to get like overly dramatic, but that's kind of what I do. But also at the same time, this
you
is
said that you're like, I don't want to get overly dramatic, and I was kind of like,
But this is what I do. At least I corrected myself. I course corrected. But what bothers me though, and you tell me if this bothers you too, because it has to a little bit, right? Like, doesn't that make you wonder if there really are sports gods, if there really is karma in life? How is it possible that a guy like Jose Altuve, who arguably, I'm going to say arguably, could be the biggest villain, if he could be the biggest villain in sports, or at least maybe like kind of the face of bad guys in sports right now anyway, not so much because of what he and what the Astros did, but the way they embrace what they did. It's very Patriot-esque. They have no contrition whatsoever for what they did. And they all know they did it. And listen, I don't give a shit about what you think about 2019. I would bet my house that Jose Altuve was wearing a wire in 2019. I have zero doubts about it. None whatsoever. I couldn't. No. I couldn't let the team rip my shirt off because one, my wife doesn't want that. And, also I had an incomplete tattoo. Okay. So this time he gets to home plate. The shirt gets ripped off of his little midget body. And the only tattoo that he has is this little thing right up here above his left pec. It's just like, it was just like, looked like some cursive. I don't even know what it was.
I don't get the whole thing about the tattoo. Like, I don't care. Like, are you really that like self-centered, like where like you're going to have a game celebration and a game celebration where you won, and then you can't have your teammates grab your jersey and stuff like that because you're afraid of something going on with your tattoo.
But then it was like, oh, my wife doesn't want to see my shirt off. And, okay, so then his shirt gets ripped off, and as you can clearly see, Jose Altuve's got a pretty good body. The man is pretty well put together. Yeah. He's a professional athlete. He's built well. Most of us would like to look like him with our shirts off. I can assure you that I would. Okay. I would not mind. I mean, I don't want to be built like a hobbit like him, but I would like to have his upper torso. Okay. So what was the real problem in 2019? I don't buy for a second that because he had the same body type in 2019. It wasn't like he was fat or anything. Okay. This wasn't like Pete Alonso taking his jersey off after a walk-off, which by the way, we've seen, and I would like for Pete Alonso to keep his shirt on going forward. Okay,
Yeah.
I love Pete Alonso. He's one hell of a home run derby performer. I'll give him that, and he is a good baseball player. But I'd rather see him with a shirt on. At least Altuve is like physically well put together. But I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not buying any bullshit about his wife not wanting his shirt torn off for the world to see, because he didn't have any problem with it a couple weeks ago. Where was the problem? Where was her outburst there? Was his wife on Twitter saying, "What the fuck, Houston? I told you to keep my husband's shirt on"? No. Didn't see any of that. It was fine. It was fine a couple weeks ago because, of course, he wasn't wearing a buzzer. That's why it was fine. He wasn't wired up. This is what bothers me about the Astros, man. Like, we all know you did it. So just be contrite about it. Just tuck your tail between your legs and say, yeah, we fucked up and we got caught. Now, listen, the Astros weren't the only team cheating and doing the kind of stuff. Shit, I'm sure the Yankees were up to something. The difference is the Yankees didn't get caught. The Astros did. And you know what? This all goes back to the example that should have been made out of them. You know, I think at the time, and I completely reverse course, and I'll be the first to admit I reverse course. I think at the time I was like, yeah, why bother taking the World Series from them? Like, what's it really going to do? They've already had their parade. They've already sold their merchandise. In hindsight, I really wish they had taken it from them, because if I knew that the Astros were really going to handle it the way that they have handled it, I would have told them to just go right off and eat a dick, because the way that they have just been perfectly okay with their behavior since this scandal is obnoxious at best, and it's egregious at worst. Come on, man. If you get caught for something, just be apologetic, be accountable for it. Show some level of contrition. They are villains, and they love it. It's straight up WWE, except the difference is this is like real life. You're not scripted. I know sports in general is trivial, but at the same time, you're still playing a legitimate professional sport. This isn't WWE. This isn't like heels and faces, following a script where it's okay to be a villain. In fact, it's embraced to be a villain because it's not real, but this is actually real. And you're just... it's just a joke. Anyways, to me, though, that was the season ender, was losing that. And seeing, like, that guy get that hit to basically put the dagger in the Yankees season. Because now, at this point, I refuse to I am not going to let this team suck me back in, the Yankees. I'm not going to let them suck me back in. Yeah, okay, they've won 3 straight series, which is fine. But you had opportunities in a couple of those series to sweep, and you couldn't get it done. You could not put teams away. And it leaves you with a sour taste in your mouth, because the Yankees are so far behind. I think you could almost forget about the division. It's not like being 7 games out in the division is a killer. The problem is you have 2 teams to jump, and those 2 teams are better than you. So I don't know how you're going to do that. Yes, they have a shot at a wild card, and, I suppose you can hang your hat on that. But as Yankee fans, we're not really conditioned to wanting to go for the wild card. It's not really our thing. But the bottom line is, this is not a good team. They haven't been a good team all year. Their record is indicative of that. You're only 4 games above 500, and you're nearly 100 games into the season. This is who you are. It's who you are. They're going to finish at best 7 or 8 games above 500. Let's be honest. And is that a playoff team? Not remotely. Not in the American League. No way. They're just not that good of a team. And I would prefer for them at the break. Well, no, sorry, past the break. At the deadline for them to be sellers. And I know most people would probably say you're nuts for saying this, but I would sell Judge and I would sell Sanchez. Get what you can for him. I think for Judge, you need to get a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, I want like top tier prospects, because not only is he having a good year, one of the few Yankees who is, but you would also have a year and a half control of him. So if you're going to get rid of him, he's not just a guy that you're selling at the break that hits free agency immediately. You get him for another full season. If you're going to make a trade to some organization, I want 2 of their top 10 prospects and then another one in the top 20. And if you could get some bat, just somebody to put into the lineup now, fine, but I kind of really don't care about that. Just get me your top I want your team's top prospects for Judge. Sanchez, I think he actually does hit free agency after this year, so my asking price for him would be less. But I still think you need to get a team's top 10 for him. I mean, he's still – listen, he's wildly inconsistent, but Sanchez has had a better year this year.
Mm-hmm.
He can't hit for average, but that's never really been his thing. But he's got his pop. He's got his pop back, If you're the Yankees, to me, you got to sell. I say sell.
So I can't be on the sell train yet. As of right now, they're, 4 games over 500. I think you had them at the end of the year, like you had them about 10 games over 500. You had them like in the low, didn't you have them like around like 90 wins or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember what our preseason predictions were. The only thing I remember...
We'll have to look back at that. But we also thought the Red Sox were going to be terrible this year, and they have shocked and surprised pretty much everybody. The Rays and Blue Jays we thought were both going to be contenders, and they are. The Yankees have just really underperformed big time.
They're a fourth-place team.
But I will say, could they be better? Yes. Should they be better? Yes. Are they going to be able to flip the switch? Now, this is the issue, is that they just won another series against the Red Sox and this time, and they done it with half the team not in their lineup. And I think that's part of the problem. Now, you could say, well, then that makes sense to blow it up. That means, you know what? Get rid of Judge, get rid of Sanchez, get rid of, whoever you can get rid of. And therefore, now you'll have a better team and less ego.
Can I just say one other thing? I would also trade Giancarlo Stanton I would trade him, pay half his salary, and in return, if you just want to give me like a 5-pound bucket of David sunflower seeds, that's perfectly fine. I mean, or maybe an old box of 87 Topps unopened cards or something like that. Whatever, I don't care. Just get him off this roster, please, for the love of God, and pay half his salary. Just pay half his salary.
Cool.
And you know what? What sucks about that is I don't hate him as a person. Like I don't A-Rod hate him, but he's an albatross. And that contract has killed them. It all went south for the Yankees once they made that trade. Now, I think probably 10 out of 10 times we all would have made that trade because they had just come off of a really good season in 2017 where they were very exciting, and then they went and got the National League MVP and added him to the lineup. You're probably thinking, holy shit, we're going to win a World Series. And then it just went all downhill. And that's not his fault, but let's be honest. He's not performing like a guy. He's not performing how a guy should be performing when you're making $30 million a year. Right. That's the problem.
Sure.
Look at Shohei Ohtani. What's he making? Like $4 million a year, and he's like the best player in baseball by far.
Yeah, but that's tough. That's the tough. I mean, we all knew he was going to be good. We didn't know he was going to be like the greatest ever. But he is a phenomenal talent. I was just talking to a couple friends about him over the weekend, and I was just like, man, this guy, I'm so glad for him that he didn't go to the Yankees, because the Yankees would have completely neutered him. And they would they would have either said, you know what, you can hit occasionally and you can pitch, or you can hit all the time. And he would have hit. He would have
hit just because he's a lefty bat, and they really need the lefty.
I can't say I can't say that I'm 100% in a belief of that. I can't. Because I don't.
Although maybe you're right, because obviously Brian Cashman does not value left-handed bats, which is bizarre because hello Yankee Stadium. Yeah. But Brian Cashman's a weird guy, and he's another guy who has to go. I mean, that's the other thing too. Trade at the deadline, sell like crazy, and then after this season, for God's sakes, Hal Steinbrenner, if you've got any bit of your fucking father in him, please just jettison this entire front office and Aaron Boone. They all have to go. And throw the biggest Brinks truck you possibly can at Theo Epstein to see if he'll come down off of his perch working for Major League Baseball. Just do whatever you can to get that guy. Because let me tell you something about Theo Epstein. As it is, his reputation is untouchable. He's the guy who delivered a world championship to the Red Sox after 86 years, and he's a guy who delivered a world championship to the Cubs after 108 years. If you really want to round out that legacy, be the guy who brings the greatest franchise in the history of sports back from the dead and get them into a World Series and win another championship. You want to go down as the greatest executive to ever live, the greatest general manager or senior, VP of baseball operations or whatever to ever exist. Go do that with the Yankees and really just complete an unbelievable legacy, which is already set in stone.
I am kind of with you. I mean, I'm with you in the fact that I would say as of right now, I wouldn't blow up the team. I would love to get, like a Theo Epstein. We've talked about that before, like where we should go with like the front office and, all that kind of stuff with the general manager, with the coach,
listen,
all that kind of stuff.
Casper and Boone got to go.
Yeah. I am. See, if they're going to keep Cashman, they just have to get a manager, someone like Buck Showalter, like we talked about before. They have to get they have to shake up everybody in the dugout. I've been saying this for a while, and it's not just because I loved the late 90s Yankee teams, but like, I just feel like their chemistry as a team were really good. They knew what the end game was, what the goal was. And they worked together to do that, whether they liked each other or not. They really just focused. And I do believe that most of them did like each other and respected each other. And I feel like, if you took someone like Buck Showalter, put him as a coach, that would be an excellent choice because I love Buck. Now you have a leader that will push back against like Hal Steinbrenner and push back against Cashman. That's what you need.
Which is why he won't get the job.
Right. And then I would love to see Cone in there as either like a bench coach or a pitching coach. I'd like to see Paul O'Neill in there as like a hitting coach. I'd like to see.
Either of those things would happen.
I know it's not a matter of if it would. It won't because of Hal Steinbrenner and they want to have all the control.
They want the control.
But so if they wanted, I just feel like doing something like that. And if you don't want to have Coney or Paul O'Neill as a bench coach, I think you have like Tino Martinez or even like a Jorge Posada, someone like that who can come in there and basically, when people are acting like wusses, get in their face, because Tino will do that. Jorge will do that. Those are two guys who have no problem, stepping on toes when they're not performing up to their capabilities. And that's the problem is right now you have a bunch of prima donnas, like Giancarlo Stanton is a prima donna. I do believe that Gleyber Torres is pretty much a prima donna. I think he's on the verge. Like he could easily be swayed to being that, like a DJ LeMahieu. Hard-nosed, gritty. He could easily get there. I think that right now you have Sanchez. I think he's a bit of a prima donna. I think Aaron Judge is a bit of a prima donna. You have all these guys who are... They look better than they are, but they could and should be better.
None of these guys have fire. There's no fire.
And that's why I do believe that Giancarlo Stanton, I think that would fix a lot of problems if they could get rid of him and they could just move with Kyle behind the dish and then have Gary Sanchez be a DH and a DH only, because he just cannot do both. He can't do both. And if he could just DH... Now, and this is where you find out, where you're like, all right, we're either going to load the boat for him because we're gonna like for the rest of the season, he's just gonna hit, and that's it, DH and DH only. See if he rakes, and if he rakes, then you say, all right, now we're gonna go David Ortiz on him and be like, boom, here's a big bucket load of cash, and you could probably even get him on a discount a little bit because he hasn't performed well over the last several years.
Right.
So you could probably still get him at a little bit of a discount and then, sign him for like a 3 to 5 year contract and, pay him about 10 a year, 15 a year, maybe. And get him at a decent discount. But he really needs to move out behind the dish. He's a terrible catcher. He has the potential to be a good hitter. And I want to see the potential. And the only reason why he can't is because they have way too many DHs, and Giancarlo Stanton is that guy who's he's just eating up the order, and he's been terrible. Like was it A-Rod that was on the cast last night? Yeah. He was talking about Giancarlo Stanton and how like he just completely opens up and he's like all his weight's towards third base and like his weight's on his back heel, but his momentum's going to third base, which means that he just has no chance at hitting. And 100% right on all of that.
Yeah.
All of it
Well,
is 100%
I mean, you may
right.
hate A-Rod, but the man is a baseball savant.
He is, but I also think he says some really moronic stuff.
He does, but he does, but I trust.
I think I think he would be a terrible coach.
Oh, he would not be a good coach. But when he can just sit at that perch and sort of look down on things objectively, I'll listen. You can say whatever you want about A-Rod. His baseball knowledge is not something that can be questioned. You can question almost everything else about him, but his baseball knowledge is just,
Yeah, baseball knowledge.
He knew how to hit well before steroids too, like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I still A-Rod. I think he does have a good baseball brain. He's got a very big brain, very big baseball brain. I think that's just for him though. I don't think he's great at teaching others. I think he does pick up on stuff.
I wouldn't.
And I think he gets stuff right half the time when looking at other people. But I just can't say that he's like, because he says so many dumb things on a broadcast. And I don't know if it's just because he has to fill time, but he says a lot of stupid stuff.
I think so. Well, that whole ESPN Sunday Night Broadcasting crew is garbage anyway. So, I mean, they're all terrible. I can't say. I mean,
what do you mean? I mean, it's not like anybody would ever hire a coach from there.
Anyways, so yeah. Anyways, just for me, it's sell. I certainly don't. They should not buy.
I think as of right now, they should be looking to buy. But I think you pump the brakes right now. I think you wait. I think you have to wait about a good, because you have what, 11 days.
Yeah.
11 days.
Yeah.
I would say you play the rest of this week, see where you're at. And that's when you make the decision.
You've got 2 against the Phillies and 4 against Boston.
Yeah. It might be too late by then because some of the good pieces might be gone. And that might make your decision for you.
They're already shopping for outfielders. Here's the thing, though. What's the Yankees' bargaining standpoint? Because right now, if you buy into the idea that they are not willing to go over the threshold, even though Hal said they would consider it based on the player and the situation and the circumstance, I don't believe him. I think they completely want to reset this salary again. So I don't believe that they are looking. I believe they are bargain basement shopping as usual. I do not believe they're looking to take on a big chip. I think your best case scenario, and I would love a guy like this, would be Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks. But here's the problem. You could probably absorb that contract from a financial perspective and not go over the cap or, whatever the salary tax threshold is. However, what are you going to offer the Diamondbacks in return? The Yankees farm system is not that great. I mean, you're not going to give up, Jason Dominguez for him because he's supposed to be your big future star. I mean, he's already got a nickname and he's 18 years old. They call him the Martian. So, I mean, you're not going to trade a guy with a nickname that great. At least you should, not for Ketel Marte. And I like Ketel Marte, but that's not. I'm not trading Jason Dominguez for him. So I don't really know what their bargaining chips are. Also, here's another thing real quick, too. I mean, I don't pay a ton of attention to the MLB draft. It's not like the NFL draft. I mean, I think Major League Baseball has tried to elevate it to that sort of thing, but they just can't. First of all, it's just too many rounds, and people just don't know enough about the athletes. But all I can tell you is this. With the Yankees' first pick, they drafted another fucking shortstop. And I don't understand this for the life of me because, listen, I know shortstop's an important position, right? I mean,
yeah, but they're also the best athletes too. I mean, they're still.
No, they are. No, I get it, but it's just like that's actually a position that you're actually somewhat deep in your system. And you picked another one. Get a fucking pitcher, dude. You had the 20th pick. Grab a pitcher. There actually was a pitcher that I wanted. What was his name? Crap. I think he was from, I want to say he was from Texas, which of course they churn out pitchers. I can't remember who it was, but they could have had him. And then he went not long after that pick. I just don't understand the Yankees drafting sometimes. Cashman to me is not a very good, I don't think that's his strength. I actually think Brian Cashman has one strength and one strength only, which is his ability to pick up good pieces off a scrap heap. Guys like Gio Urshela. That to me is sort of his strength. By the way, there's like something covering your face now, like you're like half cut off.
Oh no, that's not. It's just for you.
Oh. Anyways, that to me, because Cashman is not good at handing out big contracts to players. He does terribly in that, and he has squeezed the Yankees' purse and put them in a bad position because he's not good at the big contract signings. He messes those up frequently. I do not believe he's good at drafting players. I don't understand his priorities going into this draft and picking a shortstop with that first pick. Also, the guy they picked was, by most accounts, like, he was a top 50 guy, but closer to the 50 than the 20. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know anything. Like, I haven't looked at Baseball America, rankings in a long time. But when I hear that a guy is picking somebody who's like ranked somewhere between 50 and 60, as opposed to 0 to 20, I'm going to question that. Also, I'm going to question if you're picking shortstops when you're already somewhat deep at that position in your system and you have a current major league shortstop who's young. So I don't know. I struggle with that. And again, to me, the only thing that Cashman does seem to be pretty good at is the scrap heap pickup guys. But those are good role positions. Those are good. That's how you fill out a roster. But those are not championship moves. You have to be able to draft well, and then if you're going to make a big free agent splash, you got to hit on those too. Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind like them getting like a Starling Marte or something like that. That'd be great. Because I just think he's just a
Cattell or Starling.
Starling.
Oh, you like Starling? See, I like Cattell.
I love Marte.
Hey, you did. I love Marte.
Yeah.
Either way,
Starling is. I just think he's a beast. I would just love to see. I think he'd be a guy that I think would fit in well. And he kind of does it all. Steals bases. He's similar to the other Marte.
I don't think they're related, by the way.
Either Marte, it would be fine. I think they would be a good fit. But there's a lot of players that are out there that could be good on the team. There's a lot of players that are out there that could be bog the whole lineup down again. But it's just it's kind of a tough balancing issue. I'm not really sure which way they're going to go. It'd be amazing if they could go and like all of a sudden get like, I don't know, a Max Scherzer. That'd be crazy. Or like, do like a Trevor Story or something like that. Like something
also
bananas.
Never going to happen. Yeah.
Those are all, it will never happen, but it would be crazy.
Those are Yankee moves of the 90s and early 2000s. Those days are gone. This is now a business operation.
Yeah. That's the problem.
It's a for-profit business right now. That's it.
That's the problem with this team. But it is what it is. I say hold, pump the brakes, see what you got by next Monday. And then
sell.
And then by then you can kind of make your decision. If you're still in the same boat, you can go either way. To be honest, I think if you sell right now, you might add by subtract. Because I think if you are able to sell some players, I honestly don't think they need all these players. So if you can get rid of like a Stanton and either a Sanchez or a Judge, is it going to... But it might light a fire. Is it going to hurt you? Maybe, potentially, but it could also light a fire under the team. Like, holy crap, this is real. Time to step on the gas. But, who knows?
That motivation should not have been required.
It's unfortunate when you have so many people like that. Like, they're all very similar in like personality. And nobody really... Like, there's one Brett Gardner, but you know what? I'm sorry. I love Brett Gardner. Love that he's a Bulldog. But I think like he would wear thin on you after a while. Like he's old. He's not really performing. Like, that's
the problem. He's not in a great position of influence anymore. Like he's not going to,
even when he's at the best, even when he's at the top of his game, like people are just going to kind of be like, okay, Brett.
But you're right. Like you're still a fourth outfielder at best.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing like a regular because there's so many injuries that you.
But I mean, even when he was at the top of his game, even when he was
Right,
like the center fielder of the New York Yankees, he still was like not the guy that you're looking
almost
to
like a role
light a
player,
flyer.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, he was never more than that. I mean, yes,
you need
I'm
someone like a Gleyber Torres, but Gleyber Torres isn't playing well. But you still need him to be like, let's effing go.
Your mid-20-year-old shortstop, is the guy. Right. That's
LeMahieu just doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
He's not
like
that
he's
guy.
the guy that's going to be out there. He's going to be like, do as I do.
Right. Not as I say.
That's what he's going to do.
He's
Aaron
a lead by
Judge,
example guy.
he seems like he's just too laid back.
He's just not going to.
And too much of a jokester to kind of really do that kind of stuff.
And he seems more interested in trolling the Astros than he does, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy that whole thing when he hit that home run in the Garrett Cole game, and he was, but hey,
Garrett Cole's another guy that could do that. Like, you get Garrett Cole and Gleyber Torres, that would be good.
Every time Aaron Judge pulls shit like that, though, it always backfires on him. Case in point, that right there. He does that. Now, yes, they win that game.
I don't believe in the
the
baseball gods and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's a real thing.
But then he pulled that same shit in that series against the Red Sox where he started playing, New York after the Yankees won, and they never won another game.
But that's more of the Yankees team, not him.
No, I know, but it's just bad luck seems to follow every time he does shit like that.
It's not bad luck. It's bad performance.
Call it whatever you want. The result is the same. The result is the same. They lose.
But it's because the team's soft. That's the reason why.
They are soft. They're very soft.
But that's the reason why.
They've been soft since 2004. Ever since the Red Sox upended them in 2004, this has just never been the same organization. I know in 2009 they that was your one-off.
It's a good dub.
That was your one-off because the team was just so fucking loaded, and you had a guy like CeCe who had so much heart.
Have you seen him lately?
He's so thin. It's weird.
He's not thin. He's jacked.
Yeah, he's like big. Yeah. Which is so weird because he would have been one of those guys that I thought would first of all, he was not in good shape in his play career. I was just like, this guy's he's gonna be Fat Albert.
Yeah. Well, he had like some real health scares. So he just decided to get in great shape.
Yeah, he did.
And he's yoked. The dude is jacked.
He looks good.
He looks amazing.
I would love for him to put pinstripes back on.
Yeah, I don't know if
is there any way we can go? We can go to Japan too and get God, my God, I literally forgot his name. I'm having a brain fart. The pitcher from last year.
Hideki?
Our Japanese. Could they get him back? Is there any chance they could get him back?
Probably not. I think that's over.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I know he's pitching for I don't know what is it, like the Rakuten Eagles or something like that. I have no idea.
I have no idea. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows which team he's playing for, except for the people over in Japan.
No, not Hideki. Masahiro Tanaka.
Yeah. I was thinking.
Yeah. Hideki Matsui. No, I wish. No, Masahiro.
Yeah.
Masahiro Tanaka. Can we get him back? Come on. He's flailing away in Japan. Can we just bring him back? I mean, at least the guy is clutch in the playoffs. Not that this team's going to the playoffs, so.
Yeah. Maybe
that's pointless. I don't know. I feel like that meme where you see like a stick figure and they're like poking at something and it says, do something. That's like what Yankee fans have been like all year. Just like, do something with this team. They're just, I don't know. At this point, like I said, I'm a seller at this point, and I sell Judge and I sell Sanchez. And if you can unload any other pieces, go for it. But my God, if you could get rid of Chapman, again, take a case of Big League Chew for him.
Well, I mean, hey.
Grape flavor preferably, but I'm not going to be picky.
Watermelon's
Strawberry's
not bad.
Fine. Watermelon's good. Yeah. And, I mean, literally any of them, even just the fucking original bubblegum flavor.
They'll give you some weird flavor like lime or something. Ugh.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, we would get like key lime pie Big League Chew or something like that. Be like, what? This is gross. Maybe I shouldn't shoot for grape. That's too
poop flavored duck.
Yeah, we'll get like peach or like mango Big League Chew for all this chat.
Mango habanero Big League Chew.
Right, something that you just would never put in your mouth. and I want no part.
Ball sweat, big league chew.
Oh, so it'd be salty. Sweet meat salty.
Gross. All right, let's
Sugar
move
and
on.
salt.
Go ahead. Do you
Yeah,
want to do you want to just touch on you want to go on the pay-per-view, or do you want to touch on NBA Finals real quick?
Let's do NBA Finals.
All right, because the NBA Finals the series is the Bucks are up 3-2. You have
fun series.
Giannis versus CP3, my man CP3, and I really, really hope CP3 can pull this one through, because I want CP3 to get one so bad. I love Chris Paul. I have always wanted him to get a ring. I really wanted to get one when he was at the Houston Rockets, because I think he's just the best point guard in the last 2 decades. He just does it all. Great defense, great leader, he's just great court vision, clutch shooter, just overall great player, and just never really seems to either have the right team, or when he has the right team, just gets hurt at the wrong time. I really, really hope CP3 and the Suns can pull this off. It's not looking great because Giannis has been kind of beast mode lately. But his free throws, holy God, it's brutal.
And he's very lucky that it didn't cost them Game 5.
Yeah.
He's very lucky. Now,
and you've been following this more than I have, because I've been watching some other stuff. But
yeah, Giannis. Okay, so I actually tweeted it backfired. I was like, this loss will be on Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems like I tweet stuff like that, and that it's like a reverse psychology. It just always works out for the person that I'm tweeting against.
So do you want the Bucks to win?
You know what's weird about this series? I wanted Phoenix to win it first for 2 reasons. One, for the reason you just said, because I would love to see Chris Paul get a championship ring. I just believe that I always like to see great players get championships. I hate when they have holes in their resumes.
Yeah.
2, and I know this is going to sound weird, I wanted it for Phoenix so that Larry Fitzgerald would get a ring, because this will be his only path to a ring, because he's part owner of the Suns.
Ah.
So, he's like a minority owner. He would have gotten a championship ring.
Ah.
That's and unfortunately, that's probably the only ring he'll get, because I don't think the Arizona Cardinals I think they're going to be a good team, but I don't think they're a championship level team.
No.
So, and that's even if he plays again. He still hasn't even made that decision yet about his, so, I don't know. So for that reason, I kind of want it. But, the roles have kind of reversed now. Shoes on the other foot. I think I actually want the Bucks to win. And I think I want it for Giannis. And because, Giannis, God, even from people like me, he takes a beating. He gets a real bad rap on social media. But, it's weird. His game is, I don't want to say it's Jekyll and Hyde, but the way he's responded to is very Jekyll and Hyde. And I think I'm a perfect example of that, because I was, again, ripping him the other day on social media after he missed both those free throws, which would have put them, by the way, if he had hit both, it would have put him up 3. If he had even just hit 1, it would have put him up 2, and Phoenix still would have had to hit a 2-pointer just to tie. But then, so you're thinking like, oh my God, he's going to end up being he's going to be a black sheep in this game. And then he goes down the court and he makes this big iconic block. Mm-hmm. And then they end up winning the game. And maybe the series now, if they could put this away tomorrow night. But he is a special player. He really is. He can do it all except for the free throws. You know what I like about him, though? First of all, he is a great human being, and that should not be overlooked. He's a really, really good guy. But he's a special player too, and I would like to see him get a championship, because I think – listen, I'm not going to rip the Bucks or the Suns for getting to the finals. We all know that there were a lot of injuries in the NBA this year, and these two teams happen to be the ones that got through the injury bug relatively clean, even though Giannis did get hurt, and you thought it was going to be a season-ending injury, and it wasn't. So even these teams were not spared from the injury bug, but they were spared enough to be able to get to the finals. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to hold that against either of these teams. Availability is one of the most significant, if not the most important, abilities in all of sports, right? We hear that a lot lately, right? The best ability is availability. And I'm not going to hold it against the Suns or the Bucks that they had the best availability. Yeah, Lakers had injuries. The Nets had significant injuries. Sorry, that's being able to navigate that is part of sports. I'm not going to ding you just because you made it to the finals maybe because another team was hurt. I'm not going to hold that against you. I think that's bullshit. You got to get there one way or the other. These teams got there. To me, there should be no asterisks for either of these teams winning a championship because, this is a trash NBA finals because of injuries. Sorry. These are the teams that survived.
Teams that aren't like the biggest names, which is also rough on the league.
Now, what I will say is this. I do think, though, for Giannis, this is his window. Now, the Bucks are young. I mean, you've still got Middleton. You've still got Drew Holiday. Those guys have both been really good supporting players behind him, too. Like, really good. But I worry that there is somewhat of a limited window here, not because the Bucks are old, but because next year you're going to have these teams all healthy again. And I wonder if the Bucks can do this again. If they can can they get through a team like Philadelphia? Can they get through a team like the Nets, who will be maybe, fully back? You know what I'm saying? So that's I think is going to be a problem. Now is Taylor's a girl or a boy?
Girl.
She's so cute. Oh, how old is she?
About 2 to 3.
Oh. She was a rescue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
She's beautiful. I like her.
Yeah.
She looks nice.
She's a very nice dog.
Is she doing well with, what's your other dog's name? I forgot.
Callaway.
With Callie. Are they doing good?
Yeah.
Callaway and TaylorMade. That's great. Come on. The next one's got to be Titleist.
I said yesterday to my wife, I'm calling the next one Titleist.
Tit, yeah. There you go. It's got to be Titty. That one's got to be a girl. She looks happy.
She's a good dog. She's a hound. Like, we got her from Labs for Rescues. She's a hound. And I've actually found out that I'm not anywhere near as allergic to her as I am to the Labs that we've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just the coat, because it's a thinner coat.
Yeah. The TikTok video was funny yesterday. By the way, because I love the whole Capone. No. I love that shit. I think that shit is every time I see one of those videos, they're so well done. And I kept saying to myself, as I started the video and I heard the whole no, I was like, oh my God, one of the dogs is running into that net. I know it.
You did not. You thought it right away?
Right away, because I saw the net and I'm like, this has got to end with somebody running into the net. I was actually hoping maybe it was going to be like Cam, who came out of nowhere and ran into the net or something. It ended up being it was Callie, right?
Yeah. So
it was funny.
If I can, I'll put it on the screen. I'll see if I can do it in a few minutes.
It was funny. But anyways, so I've kind of flip-flopped on this finals a little. Originally going in, I feel like the Russians in Rocky IV, where they were originally rooting for Drago, but then Rocky turned them around, and the Bucks have turned me around. I kind of want to see Giannis put it away now tomorrow night. But what's weird is if CP3 steps up big in Game 6, I could see myself going right back and saying, "Fuck it, I want the Suns to win now in Game 7, so CP3 can get his ring and Larry Fitzgerald can get his ring." Yeah. I don't know. Here's what I will say. It's fun. Listen, of course, what I love for the Spurs to be in the finals, yes. I'm sure you would love the Rockets to be in the finals, but you know what? That's not the situation. But what's nice about this finals is there's no skin in the game for me. So I get to kind of just, I feel okay about, flopping back and forth. What do I care? It's not either one of them. Right. It's not my team. So it's just been a fun finals to watch. It just has. Watching CP3 at this twilight stage of his career, but still being a very good player. Mm-hmm. Devin Booker is special. That's just a special player. He just is. The guy could drop 40 any night. Mm-hmm. Ironically, he's been in that territory the last couple games, and they've lost both, which is basically saying, okay, we need the other guys on the Suns to step up. What's weird about this series to me is I thought the Suns on paper were a significantly better team. And after they went up 2-0, you're probably like, okay, this is over. Teams don't go up. So every time a team goes up 2-0 in an NBA Finals, I think the win percentage is close to 90. So they are now, pun intended here, bucking that trend a little bit because it looks like the Bucks, who have now taken control back and are up 3-2 with a chance to end it at home, they're in the driver's seat. So we'll see what happens. I don't have a ton of faith, to be honest, that the Bucks can put this away, though, because it's just been that kind of series. So I don't know. I mean, yes, a road team finally won, so now it is really a series, but I don't know, man. I'm not so sure the Bucks can put it away tomorrow night. Let's see what kind of killer instinct they have, because if this goes back to Phoenix, you've got to like Phoenix.
Right.
I mean, you just have to.
Right. Let's see if I can save this.
By the way, the other reason I'm rooting against the Suns is their fans are obscene. They're a very obnoxious fan base, which I don't understand why. They've never won anything. They've never won a thing. Christ, that whole state, I mean, with the exception of the Lute Olson-led Arizona Wildcats from the 90s and, like, the Diamondbacks who won in, 2001, I mean, that's not exactly a state with a huge winning legacy. You would think that they'd be very humble. They are not.
No.
They're obnoxious.
They have Giannis
They're always
now.
getting into fights, too, Suns fans. It's really weird.
Oh, you're talking about the Suns fans? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Arizona. Like Arizona, Arizona. I mean, the Arizona
they
Cardinals.
They definitely have not won anything. Yeah,
the Cardinals have never won. Again,
Phoenix,
I just pointed it out. You've had the Arizona Wildcats,
who
have won. They won national championship with Lute Olson back in the 90s, and then you had the Diamondbacks in 01 beat the Yankees. Other than that, I mean, the Coyotes haven't won anything yet. And this Phoenix Suns team, which has been around for a long time and had good teams. I mean, you had Steve Nash, Charles Barkley. There were some good teams there. Amari Stoudemire, they've never won shit. So dial it back a little. Your mouth definitely writing checks that so far your body cannot cash. So chill out.
All right.
Chill out. Win a championship first.
Here's the dog video. I'll put it on the screen here. Ready?
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, no. Of course, I'm not going to be able to see it because it's going to be like a
You will in a minute if you look at YouTube.
I am. I'm watching YouTube. I'm seeing myself talk right now. At least I can hear it.
You can hear my daughter laugh in the background. It's
was that her? Okay.
So great.
All right. Yeah. See, now I'm seeing it.
So like the full video.
They were having fun over there, huh?
Oh,
Wait
yeah.
for it. Oh!
Like if you listen, like to the whole thing. What? Ready? Listen to my daughter laugh. Ready? What? Hold on. Here they comes.
That's cute.
She's got this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I caught that on the Ring camera, by the way.
I mean, if I would have had to have put money on it, I would not have suspected the veteran would have run into the net. I would have said the rookie would have gone through the net.
No, because they're about the same age. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I mean, the home veteran.
she didn't even she just kind of like directly ran right into it.
She didn't. She had no clear path. She's like, wait a minute.
Whoa, and then did a somersault.
That song is so great. That song has done wonders for the internet this past year. I've seen so many great videos and so many great, little kind of sketches from it. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I noticed that I was looking on, so I looked at TikTok because it was the only video I've ever put on TikTok. And it has 640 views.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. I thought it was pretty funny.
TikTok is...
It's got 7 hearts.
Nice.
But, yeah. My daughter's my favorite part. My wife goes, ah! And then my daughter... So good. So good.
All right. Well, what do you want me to do? Cover money in
my
the
daughter's
bank
giving
now,
me the eyes now.
The eye.
She came in. She sees me.
Eye.
So what else do we have to talk about? We got to do White Man Can't Jump, right? And your pay-per-view. Which one do you want to do?
I'll cover Money in the Bank quick, and then we can go outro with White Man Can't Jump. Oh, am I choppy? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the pay-per-view.
Peacock sucks a dick. Yeah. All right. Let me just give you a real quick recap of Money in the Bank. Now,
Go.
So this pay-per-view, if you go by, and I looked up some of the grades and stuff from places like CBS, Bleacher Report, CNET. Everyone really loved this pay-per-view. I did not. The Peacock issue aside, because, I mean, it really only impacted, like I said, 10, 20, maybe 25 minutes tops until they realized you could just log out and log back in, and then the stream was fine. I'll give you the rundown real quick of just the match results. So in the pre-show, so sometime between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, the Usos beat the Mysterios to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. That was not a shock at all. I think we all knew that was going to happen. The Usos needed to get gold put back on them to complete this whole thing that they've got with Roman Reigns being a champion. And having, the family there, having all the gold. Nikki ASH, or Nikki Ash, or the artist formerly known as Nikki Cross, won the women's Money in the Bank. AJ Styles and Omos defended the tag team titles against the Viking Raiders. Bobby Lashley absolutely destroyed Kofi Kingston, which was awesome because I really wanted that to happen. Charlotte Flair beat Rhea Ripley. Shocker. Big E won the men's Money in the Bank, which was the highlight of the night for me because that was the one thing I really wanted. And then, of course, the WWE found yet another way to fuck up this Edge storyline by having Roman Reigns beat Edge yet again. And they just, and then the big, of course, the big thing at the end was Reigns won with the help of Seth Rollins interfering in the match twice, which allowed Reigns to spear and to get the spear and the pinfall on Edge. Edge was pissed, chasing Rollins, beating the shit out of him, throwing him around, and then Reigns is in the middle of the ring, grabs the microphone, talks some real quick shit, and then, of course, John Cena's music hits, and that place just popped the top because John Cena's been gone for a while. He looked good, came out. The place was going nuts. Texas was going nuts. And by the way, this was the first pay-per-view back in front of a live audience again. The first event back in front of a live audience was on Friday night SmackDown. This was the first pay-per-view back in front of a live audience. And they did not disappoint in terms of crowd reaction. The crowd was into it the whole night, and John Cena showing up at the end was really the icing on the cake. It was cool to see him again. I will admit I didn't expect that. So when I heard even though I was still pissed about Edge losing again, when I heard his music, I kind of popped up a little bit. So that was a cool event, cool moment in the event. Overall, I'm giving this, and I know most people would agree because I think this event has been getting like A's and A pluses across the board. I'm only giving it a B minus. I can't get past the fact that they do not know, this company does not know how to finish storylines properly. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse because I beat this dead horse terribly after WrestleMania. But you have now continued to screw up a storyline about a guy who was never supposed to come back after neck surgery. He comes back 10 years later, is in the best shape of his life, and still is. Edge looks fantastic with his ripped abs, and he's shredded, but it's great because he's got like this shredded body, but like that old man face kind of, he's in his 40s, he's in his mid to late 40s, but he still moves around like a guy in his prime because he's in such good shape. He's in such good physical condition. This story needed to end with him winning a title, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now he's clearly going to go off into a feud with Seth Rollins, and that's going to extend into SummerSlam and probably beyond into the fall. Where is there a path for Edge to win the championship? And like I said, at this point, it doesn't even matter. The ship sailed. You screwed up. It needed to happen at WrestleMania, and you didn't do it then. It needed to happen then, and you didn't do it, and they screwed it up. So it's like, why even bother? So to me, bringing him back again last night to have him face Roman and lose again, what was the point? Now you're just throwing salt in the wound. I mean, it's like Vince is just purposely trying to stick it to WWE fans. He really doesn't care. He's gotten so senile in his old age. He really has. It's time for Triple H to just take over. Vince needs to just be taken out to pasture at this point. He doesn't, his writing team is not exactly a crack staff. They may be on crack, but they are not their writing team is not good. Another kind of case in point example of that, So last night during the women's Money in the Bank match, I wanted Liv Morgan to win. I think most of the WWE universe wanted Liv Morgan to win. Nikki Ash won, who, my God, she might have been like the second to last person that I really would have wanted to win that thing. There just was no... She's literally doing this like superhero gimmick. She comes out with a cape on and like these tights with some sort of, it's got like some kind of bizarre Shazam sort of look to it. And then like she's wearing like a mask, like around her eyes, like Arrow or, you know, something like that. I mean, like she just doesn't, it just makes no sense. It's like Robin. She's like Robin. And the Ash stands for almost a superhero. So it's Nikki ASH, almost a superhero. Like they can't even give her like a good name. And the costume is so like cheeseball 80s. It's just like, it's awful. Do you remember the rabbit in Secret Life of Pets 2? Like when it was like, that's Snowball. Yeah. That's the rabbit's name. And it's like the same costume. It's really bad, dude. It's just bad. And so anyways, her winning the match notwithstanding, there were a couple opportunities there. Liv should have won. Liv was the emotional and fan favorite going into that match. She did not win. And now I don't see what's next for her. And the other opportunity that they had, so they did this thing where, so Alexa Bliss has been going through this thing where she's, you know, kind of has this supernatural thing going on. She can almost like force manipulate things, which is really sort of cool. But even last night, they screwed up a really good opportunity to like let that play out. So at one point, she was doing some of that stuff. And at one point, all of the competitors stacked, they got mad, you know, they were all going after her and they stacked ladders on top of her. And what they should have done, and it was so funny, because Tim Callahan and I were texting each other during it, and he and I had the exact same thought. Like, okay, the lights should go out at some point, and like Alexa should be at like the top of the ladder, ready to claim the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like after having all these ladders stacked on top of her. Like if you're going to go supernatural with her, fucking go all the way. Don't half-ass it.
Right.
That's what WWE does. They don't know how to finish storylines. They half-ass everything. They had so many moments for last night's event to be like so great. If Liv could have won, or even if Alexa had won with like some sort of supernatural thing, that would have been fucking cool. But no, it's Nikki Ash, like literally climbing over people as everybody's battling at the top of the ladders, and she grabs the suitcase, and it's like all these competitors are just fighting each other and they don't see her doing it and they just let it happen. It was cheesy. It was so dumb. Like the event just got off to a shit start. I mean, listen, Charlotte.
I'm like looking at pictures of all this as you're talking about it.
So like Charlotte, Charlotte beating Rhea Ripley was whatever. That was a given. I mean, we all know that they are trying to get her to match her dad's championship record. So she is now up to 14 championships. Ric Flair has 16. I think it's also obvious that with John Cena coming back and having him target Roman Reigns, and maybe, listen, I don't really see a scenario under which John Cena beats Roman Reigns. But I do know that at some point they're going to have John Cena win a championship again, because I know they want him to pass Ric Flair. Like that, because here's the thing, that when it comes to Ric Flair, as much reverence and respect as WWE has for him, as much as Vince McMahon loves him, Ric Flair is not a byproduct of Vince McMahon. Ric Flair is a byproduct of WCW. So John Cena is a byproduct of Vince. He's Vince's Hulk Hogan. And if you know anything about that, he's going to want his guy to be the guy to have the record for championships. So John Cena is going to win a 17th title, and it is going to be celebrated in grand fashion. And I'm sure Ric Flair will be there when it happens. But I don't know if he's going to beat Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns has got this whole dominant thing going on. What is the message that you send if you're WWE? You have Edge trying to complete this incredible comeback story where he comes back from this ridiculous injury that he should have never come back from. 10 years later, to get in the shape of his life, you won't put the strap on him, but you'll put it on John Cena? Well,
maybe what they're planning on doing is having John Cena beat Roman Reigns, and then you have Edge beat Cena.
Edge and Cena? Well, I would be okay with that if it played out that way. I don't think it's going to happen. Again, like that, what you just gave is an example of a pretty good storyline, which is why it will never happen. It will never happen. That was if you just came up with that off the top of your head, which I know you just did.
Yeah.
That would be actually really good. That'd be kind of cool. Because then you would have this Cena Edge Legends thing at WrestleMania.
And then you could always have Roman win it back.
Right, exactly. See, you're thinking with a lot of common sense, and you're not even a fan. And yet they are actually the guys being paid to do this, and they can't even think that straight. What you just laid out was perfect. Right. You could give Edge and Cena their little moment, let them have it for a few months, but then go right back to Roman. He's still the long-term guy. Nobody's denying that. He's absolutely the long-term guy. He's all this crap that they've made him out to be, the tribal chief, the head of the table, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Yes, he is all that. And he can still be your long-term guy, but why can't you have these other stories in the interim? Why can't you have Edge and Cena go, yeah, what you just described was great. Could it play out that way? I suppose. Will it? Hell no. I would not bet my life on that. The best night, for me, the highlight of the night was Big E winning the Money in the Bank. That needed to happen. It's Big E's time. He needs to be a champion at some point. This is his road. And, you know, whenever he chooses to cash in, whomever he chooses to cash it against, kind of don't care, just so long as it happens. The other highlight of the night to me, because I love Bobby Lashley. I love Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is a guy, he's in his early 40s, I think now. He put in his time in wrestling. He had some up and down moments in his career, but he is, first of all, if you look at him, he's a physical freak.
Yeah.
He is an absolute man cut from stone. And I went into last night's match saying not only does he need to beat Kofi Kingston, he needs to rip him apart and annihilate him. And he did. I mean, it was just an absolute beating. And I love Kofi, so I hate that Kofi has sort of had to be the sacrificial lamb twice for guys like Brock Lesnar and now Bobby Lashley. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Kofi can sell it well, and Kofi's the kind of guy who can bounce back from it, and it won't hurt him. But Lashley needed it for the legitimacy of this title run that he's been on, which he's been on for a while now. And I want his title run to continue for a while. I want to see Bobby Lashley have a long run. He's good. He's first of all, he's got the look. He's relatively decent on the mic. He still needs to work.
He was one of my guys that I was thinking about for Debo on.
Oh yeah.
And,
he definitely. Oh, he definitely could have been. The only problem with him being Debo is that he is so big and so. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tiny Lister was also, but like, who could you see? I mean, I'm sorry, I could not see, O'Shea Jackson Jr. or whatever. Yeah, being able to whoop.
Hey, you
Bobby
just need a lucky
Lashley's
punch. You need a lucky punch.
So.
Just a
you
lucky
do need
punch.
a lucky punch, but I mean, Bobby Lashley's a beast. That's a man right there.
Yeah.
And I am enjoying the Bobby Lashley thing, and his storyline is actually getting better as it goes. So I wanted to see him continue the run. And it was also nice to see two black men in a championship match like that last night. Tim texted me during that match, and he said apparently, I'm still not sure I believe it, but he said apparently this was the first time two black men were in a championship match against each other in WWE. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Booker T was a WWE champion for a while. Kofi Kingston was a WWE champion recently. Like, I'm like, is that right? Like, is that really the first two African Americans? And maybe he's right. I didn't look into it. I took him at his word. I don't know. He must have seen it somewhere. But if that is, man, shame on WWE. That should not have been the first time you had two black guys taking on each other in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
In a championship wrestling match where the title was on the line. That's terrible if that's the truth. That speaks a lot about WWE's past, I guess. Because I'm sorry, you can't tell me that there haven't been guys that have deserved that honor. Anyways, like I said, I'll give this a B-. I'm sure most people have this as an A to A- at worst event. Not me, because you just keep fucking with Edge, and I can't take that. Sorry. I love Edge too much. The story needed to end the right way. You had another chance to maybe kind of almost make it right last night, even though you're not going to make up for what you did at WrestleMania. And you just didn't do it. You didn't do it.
Okay.
You keep fucking up. Like you keep like they are. I mean, they're the. And it's like the whole otter thing, from Animal House. You fucked up, you trusted us. But the thing is, I don't trust them anymore. So I can't even use that Animal House, example anymore because I don't trust them. I don't trust Vince. I trust Triple H to do the right things when it comes to NXT. And I would definitely trust him to make the right call when it comes to WWE. You know what, though? Triple H is, I guarantee you, though, because Triple H, first of all, that's his father-in-law. And second of all, Triple H is a company guy. So I'm sure if you got in front of Triple H, they put a microphone in front of him and he would say, oh, I would have done exactly what Vince did. Mm-hmm. He would say that, but it's bullshit. Triple H is way better at this. He's way better. Because if you watch the NXT product, he doesn't fuck that up. He's in charge of that. That's his baby. He makes the calls, and that is a vastly superior product. A vastly superior. Okay. There is so much deep talent in NXT. It's crazy. And he does all the right things with it. He presses all the right buttons. And Vince just can't anymore. It's over for Vince. It's over. He's past his prime.
Happens to us all.
It does. It does. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what the problem is not being able to identify that. All
right. Let's move on to the next one, which is...
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
All right. We are going to sort this out, baby. We got a recast a movie. Very excited. Very excited. Recast a movie. White Men Can't Jump. I've been waiting for this. So long. Ever since I wrote it on the board, on the wheel of destiny. And I'm very excited. All right, so we have The White Men Can't Jump. I have put on my list.
How many did you do? How deep did you go into the cast?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Oh, wow. I only did 4.
All right.
Sorry. I only did what I considered to be the big 4.
So you did Billy, Sidney, Gloria, and Rhonda?
Correct.
You didn't do Junior?
I didn't. I know.
Oh, man. What is it? Is it Stucci Brothers? Is that what it was? The Stucci Brothers? The mob guys that were chasing after?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Stucci? Was it Stucky? What was it? Stucci? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there's also a very key role in this that isn't this as well. And I needed to do that as well. It's like such an easy choice too. So we'll get into it. All right. So let's start off. I mean, who do we want to start off with? I think Rosie Perez was kind of a difficult one.
Yeah.
She was, for me, like the most difficult. I had a hard time because she's such an important role and she's such an iconic character.
Yeah.
And she's such an iconic, just actor,
Yes.
Now that's not saying that she's the best actress in the world. It's not saying that she's the worst. She's just, the way she talks, her cadence, she's just
voice,
her height, her curvous figure, her kind of sassy attitude. She is who she is. And she's great, especially in this movie. But all right, so let's start off with Woody Harrelson. Let's start off with Wesley Snipes. All right. So he played Sidney Dean.
By the way, I'll go. I got a good one for Junior, so I'll add him.
Okay.
I got a good one for him.
Yeah, I got 2 for Junior. One I think would be better than the other, but it's an age issue. Because Junior was played by Kadeem Hardison, and he was only 26. So all of these actors were in their 30, somewhere between 26 and 30. So I tried to get close. I'm not going to say I got perfect because I'm not. Yeah. But I do like my choices, my overall choices. And I'm looking forward to see what you have to say. Okay. So, all right. So let's get into it. We'll start off with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'll take Wesley Snipes first, and then you can do Woody Harrelson first. All right.
Okay.
I'll do Wesley Snipes, and then you give me your Wesley Snipes, and then you'll start off with Woody, and then I'll go. All right. So Wesley Snipes, who was 29 at this time, Sidney Dean, trash talking, baller, that very skilled basketball, athlete. He was an athlete, and just the trash talking was amazing. I would love to see them remake this movie because I think you could actually do it. And you could make it good. And the guy who I would like to see play Wesley Snipes, unfortunately, is a little bit bigger than he used to be. But I think he could still play the role pretty well. And that would be Michael B. Jordan. Okay. I like him in this role. Obviously, this is bigger budget because you're going to have a bigger budget on a reboot like this. But I do like Michael B. Jordan in this role. Because I could see him having that trash talk. He's got that great smile like Wesley Snipes does. And he could be a jokester. And I think that if he could lean down a little bit, just lean down a little bit to get a little bit more
because
basketball.
He's got that Creed 2 body.
Yeah. And Creed, Marvel, he's just got that body where he's jacked now. Yeah. If he could thin down a little bit, still keep the cutness because you have to. Because Wesley Snipes was in pretty good shape too, but you need to get more basketball fit, not boxing / Marvel shape. And I think you could do that pretty easily. Over a couple of months. So a lot less lifting and a little bit more, wind sprints and running and stuff and jumping and things like that. So, all right. So that would be my pick. I don't know the heights on these guys, but I don't think that matters that much.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right. So that's who I have. I have Michael B. Jordan. That was the only person that came to my mind when I thought about this Sidney Dean.
So for my Sidney Dean, I had a 34-year-old Michael B. Jordan.
Now, if they did this
this was the easiest one.
If they did this like about 10 years ago, this 10 years ago, I would have picked Will Smith all the way.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good basketball player. He could easily do it. He's a trash talker. Yeah. Great personality.
For me, this was so easy for Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
So easy. So easy.
Yeah.
Also, like the one thing I wanted to do with this cast, and you will definitely find this out with my Billy Hoyle pick, is that I wanted to go. I went full on beautiful people, and Michael B. Jordan is just a beautiful man. That's just a good looking man, and
yes.
I mean, my God, the body of Adonis, literally Adonis Creed. So, which by the way, I watched Creed 2 again this weekend, and I loved that. I mean, don't get me wrong. The whole storyline of him taking on Drago's son is a little campy, let's be honest. But the one thing I liked about it, though, is that match, like that boxing match, that second boxing match, to me was actually somewhat accurate in terms of how I think a boxing match between guys like that would go. Because Victor Drago is huge. And he's a big dude. And he's a guy that would tire as a match like that, as a boxing match like that would get into the later rounds as you get towards the 12th round. And that is what happened.
I will break him.
He tired, and Michael B. Jordan still had, Adonis Creed still had gas left in the tank, and he was just destroying him. He was destroying Drago at the end because Drago had nothing. The tank was empty. And I feel like that's what would happen. Now, as is always the problem with a lot of boxing movies is way too many big dramatic punches are landed in movies. Yeah. And that's not how real boxing is. It's just not. Boxing is very defensive. Well, I mean, but if you watch
those old Rocky movies.
Right. I mean, those are right. I mean, right. It's ridiculous. Nobody lands blows like that in action. I mean, like the people would die. I mean, it's not like
you are not a good boxer. You get hit way too much.
I mean, like big blows. But I will tell you though, I liked that, honestly, of all of the boxing movie matches I've ever seen, that's, to me, maybe one of the more accurate ones. The first of all, the punches were very quick and swift. I mean, like, it just seemed like it was in real life kind of motion.
Sure.
There wasn't there obviously in a lot of the old Rocky movies, a ton of slow motion stuff. But anyways, so let me move on. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan was easy for me. He was actually the same. He was the first guy I thought of.
All
I couldn't even consider anyone else.
So he's 29. Michael B. Jordan's 34. That's that.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes was 20.
Yeah.
All right. So
But
Woody
Michael B. Jordan
Harrelson,
could easily pull
30
off a
years
guy in
old.
Yeah.
Billy Hoyle.
Okay, so here's where I went way off the rails, because this is actually also another guy like Michael B. Jordan who would have to.
This would be interesting if it's a guy that I have as the other guy.
But
that
this
I was
is
thinking about.
This is a guy who will also have to trim down from his ripped current state.
Okay. All right.
Because this guy is ripped, and also he's way too good looking to play this role. But I wanted to, like I said, I went big and I went beautiful.
All right.
I went the big, the bold, and the beautiful on this, because I want a crazy ass, good looking, hot cast that will get money into the box office. So I went with, I mean, this is a guy that could make me turn good looking. Zac Efron is Billy Hoyle. And let me tell you.
All right.
Let me tell you. It's not, Woody Harrelson not a good looking man. So to go from, I mean, at least like Wesley Snipes is a decent looking dude, like in his prime,
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's not Michael B. Jordan good looking, but Zac Efron is on like another level of like good looking man. So, I mean, again, I mean, listen, but Zac Efron, there is some basketball chops for him. I mean, he did play, what was it, the third
High School Musical?
No. Well, I actually wasn't even going to say that. It was the basketball movie where like Matthew Perry, where he got young. It was like 13 again or 13.
Something like that.
It was like I think it was like 13 again or something like that. I can't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, so he like, he ends up going back to being a kid again, and he's a basketball player.
Yeah.
And I was like, he can play. I mean, he could definitely play the game. Yeah. So I think that kind of is important too. I don't want to make any I don't have no idea if Michael B. Jordan can play basketball.
Yeah.
But I know Zac Efron at least had a role where he played a basketball player once. So hey, maybe he can.
So all right.
But he's my guy. He'd be my guy for that.
I like it. I think that's a pretty good role. I don't particularly love the fit, but I think he could definitely verbally play the role. I had two guys. The first guy that I thought of was the guy I ended up going with. He's also 34, but the backup guy, the guy who I thought, I was like, oh, you know what? He'd probably be a really good fit. He plays in some comedies, can move. So I'm sure that he could pick up basketball pretty quickly. I don't know if he has basketball, acumen at all. I don't know what he can do, but I thought Channing Tatum would have been a good fit. Not sure of his age right now. He's probably closer to 40, but he's a young looking 40. And
he can play dorky too.
Yeah.
Like
he can play a goofball. Like in 21 Jump Street, he was funny.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
And then you have the guy, the guy I ended up going with, which is a much more fit Woody Harrelson's character. Okay. Just visually. And I feel like this actor, who's also 34, like I said, has shown that if he doesn't know how to play basketball well, I guarantee he can pick it up, because this kid had no idea how to play the drums, or if he did, it was very, very poorly. And quickly became a all-star drummer in the movie Whiplash, and that is Miles Teller. I think Miles Teller could be a great fit. Visually, he's quick-witted, and I feel like he could fit that role. And him and Michael B. Jordan,
not particularly good-looking, so that fits the Woody Harrelson.
And I think Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller have acted together in multiple roles. They played. They were in the Fantastic Four together.
Oh yeah,
they were also in a movie where they were like friends. What was I can't remember what the name of the movie is, but it was, they like ended up having to stay overnight and stuff like it was a weird movie, but they had great chemistry. So they've worked well together in the past.
I like reuniting guys too.
I think that having people with good chemistry works well. I think you have to.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
So let's get into. We'll go to Wesley Snipes' wife, Rhonda Dean, and who was played by Tyra Farrell, 30 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Well,
I only have
okay,
one person for this role, and I don't think it's that. This isn't a role that I think is as important as she was in the movie. I think you could kind of pick several different people to play her.
So this is one where I didn't go huge star power.
I didn't
but
either.
I went with Crush, just because I love her. I just have a crush on her, and this is you know her as Domino from Deadpool 2, Zazie Beetz.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. I just love her. She's just like, I loved her in Deadpool 2. She was just so great as Domino. She's super hot. So yeah,
All right.
that was
I like
that
That's a
was
good
just
one.
like my fanboy because I have a crush on her pick. So
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I picked Keke Palmer, which is Lauren Kiana
I'm gonna have to look
Keke
that
Palmer.
up.
You will. She's a very unknown. Well, she's not unknown. She's been in things. She's a singer.
K-I?
What's that?
Oh, K-E Palmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's more for singing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Great voice.
Yep.
But she's also starting acting as well. She's in her late 20s. I think she'd be a good fit.
I know. Okay, I know who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think she could be a good fit.
Okay, good. Yep.
Again,
I like it.
not a super important role as far as getting star power. You don't need a huge star to play that, because as important she was in the movie, she's not like the standout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you got? Let's get to. Do you want to do Rosie Perez last?
Sure.
All right. Because I have two for Rosie Perez. One was kind of like, you know what? I bet you she could kind of play this role, but it's more of a joke than anything else. And then the other one is my real one.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into Junior.
Okay.
Do you want to go
This will
first?
be the only other one that I can do.
Yeah.
This one was actually easy. As soon as you mentioned that you wanted to include Junior, I was just like, oh, this has got to be Daniel Kaluuya. I mean, he even kind of resembles Kadeem Hardison a little bit, and also he could totally play that role.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Totally
that's a good
role.
one.
I mean, Daniel Kaluuya can play anything, so
I think I like that better than mine. Although I do think that I do have two good ones.
The
but
good news is I didn't have time to think about it, so I just didn't overthink it.
Right. I picked two guys. One,
and again, star power. Daniel Kaluuya's a big star now.
Right.
So.
Yeah. That's good. That's a great one because he's kind of a little chunky too, so he's not gonna be the best basketball player. And like,
right. No. Like because like, if you look,
and
at
he's
Hardison,
self-deprecating, but at the same time could talk a little smack. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I had picked two people. Okay. The guy that, and I could either be swayed either way. I actually like yours a lot. I like that one a lot. That would actually probably be my number one after thinking about it. But
if it makes you feel better, I would say I like the Miles Teller pick better than Zac Efron because Miles Teller fits that role better.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I picked Jay Farrow.
Okay.
Someone that's
like
not
Jay
a
Farrow.
huge star, but he's funny.
Right. He's
he can talk smack.
recognizable.
He could do some impressions, like to kind of like
Yeah.
be kind of funny and stuff like that. So it's like that. That's kind of like he's not young. He's like in his mid to late 30s, I think. But the other guy who I think would fit this role really well because they could really pick on him based on not being great at basketball or not being great at basketball, even though he was a good basketball player in high school, I believe. But he is also super short and he is very self-deprecating and take a joke, but he could also slay. And that is Kevin Hart.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you could put him in that role easily.
Yeah, definitely.
And they could pick on him and make fun of him and it would be hilarious. And then he could also roast you as well, which would also be funny.
But he's jacked.
Yeah, but he's small. So like he's
small,
yeah. Like, and then he barely plays basketball. He's just there to kind of like.
And you could maybe just disguise his body too, you know, like
a little bit. Yeah, but you could
just say, hey man, put a few pounds on or something.
Yeah, Jay Farrow I think would probably be my. I don't know. Either one I'd be fine with, but I do like Daniel Kaluuya. I think that'd be a good one.
Okay.
He's a heavy dude. He's kind of husky, but. All right, so that's all you have, right? Except for you have Rosie Perez.
Right? Oh, Rosie Perez, yeah.
So let me get into the Stucci
Gloria
brothers.
Clemente.
I think it's Stucci. I think that's how you pronounce it. the Stucci brothers, who were a couple of the guys that were chasing after Woody and money and all that kind of stuff and trying to get.
Yeah.
And the guys that I came up with there was 3 people that you could basically interchange. Whoever you want to put in there would be fine. I think that they would be perfect for this because they'd be hilarious.
Okay.
They'd be much funnier than the Stucci brothers were. But that is Danny McBride and James Franco or Seth Rogen. Have them in there as that role. And it would just be hilarious. I think they could just play that very funny. And I would like that. I mean, because Danny McBride can put on that kind of tough guy face, you know?
Yes.
And James Franco, even though you don't look at him and you're like, I'm not scared of him, he kind of looks crazy.
He does. Yeah,
he does look a little crazy. So I think Seth Rogen would be just a fit if one of those guys couldn't make it work. You know, like if
all
one
right.
of those guys.
I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple right off the top of my head, just to at least chime in on the conversation.
All right.
One, because I just love this actor so much, and I want to see him in a somewhat comedic role.
Uh-huh.
But he's also intimidating looking. See, he certainly can be because he played General Zod. Would be Michael Shannon.
Oh, okay.
I'd
Yeah,
love to see him.
take on
a
that'd be
role
really
like
good.
that.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be funny? Because he's so serious.
Yeah. Well, he's
But I'd
played some
like to see
funny
him try that.
roles. Like he was in The Night Before Christmas or whatever it was with Seth Rogen.
Yes.
He was
the Yes.
Yeah,
he was funny in that. Yeah. He was almost like an angel, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like he was like a hobo angel sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he sold pot too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the other guy, I'm gonna just give you the other Franco brother, Dave.
Okay. That works well too.
How about that?
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
Because I like Dave.
You could have Dave and James be it.
Totally.
The Stucci
I mean, why not, right? I mean, why not? Actual brothers, so I mean,
yeah, that'd be funny. All right. So let's go. We have. I'm gonna do my other one, and then this is the last one, which I found to be the easiest because what's one of the things that's very prominently featured in this show? That is Jeopardy, and you're gonna need somebody to replace Alex Trebek, and that person will be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Have to have somebody replace him.
Yeah, why not? I forgot about that because I forgot that she was big into Jeopardy. That was
Yeah.
like one of the big because she got on Jeopardy
Yes.
and dominated.
Yes.
Well, actually, she started off slow.
Yeah.
And they were all like looking at her like this chick ain't gonna do nothing, and then boom, she just went off.
Yeah. She went bananas.
She got in the zone.
Yeah. All right. Foods that start with the letter Q. All right. So now let's get into it. Speaking of Jeopardy, Rosie Perez. Probably the hardest one to fit in this whole movie.
Yeah.
And on top of that, might be not the most important, but she's definitely right up there with the other 2 leads.
No, that's a big role. That's a big role.
This was a 3-headed monster in this movie, and that is Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and Rosie Perez.
Yeah.
So this is the cast you have to get right.
Yeah.
Oh, so who do you got? Do you want me to I'll give you my joke one.
Okay.
Now,
what's your joke one?
This one is a joke because I mean she's 28, so she fits perfectly because Rosie Perez is 27. Both of my
28.
Both of my girls both of the girls I picked, or both of the women, the actresses that I picked, were in their late 20s.
Okay.
But,
so you're 28. Mine's 28 too.
It's not going to be. No. This is a joke. This is
okay. Okay.
It's a joke one.
Okay.
It's
going to be really bad if it's the same person, and I'm going to be like, well, mine's not a joke.
So she's a musician, and I feel like she has that comedic style about her. She also, because she's a musician, has done plenty of music videos. I think she could put on a performance if she needed to. And she has proven that she's very funny. I don't know if she could sell this role. That's what I just thought it was funny just based on the way that she speaks. And, because Rosie Perez has a very distinctive way that she spoke in this movie.
Yep.
And that would be Cardi B.
Okay.
That was my joke.
So you did You definitely scared me a little there because I have a 28-year-old who's a singer. So,
All right. Well,
but not
there-
Cardi B.
the one that I have also is a singer, but she's also an actress. So,
Okay.
and she's not 28. She's 29. I think she's 29.
Okay.
So who do you got? Who's your real deal actress? 4.
So again, mine is a 28-year-old singer and actress, and she is Latina, and her name is Selena Gomez.
Yeah, that's mine too. Selena Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it was like perfect.
Yeah, it was.
Wizards. She was an actress back in the day at Disney. Wizards of Waverly Place. I used to watch that with my son all the time.
Yep.
And then she came up, and she
she's
actually starred in the movie with James Franco.
And she's pretty.
Oh, she's very pretty. Yes.
Very pretty.
And I could easily see her selling that role perfectly. Yep. She's great.
Yeah. It wasn't. I mean, it was. I would say that was the easiest one for me besides Sidney.
Okay.
Because I had nobody but Michael B. Jordan in mind. And she was like a close second in terms of like, this seems kind of like an easy fit.
Yeah.
So we got two.
Yeah.
We matched 2.
I think we've come up with a solid list. I think that Daniel Kaluuya would be the good person for Junior. I think he'd be the best fit. Now you have some other understudies just in case. With maybe Jay Farrell being the understudy.
We're making good trades here. We're gonna go with
Stucci brothers. We have a handful of people that we could go with.
I say we just go with what we talked about, which was, just the Franco brothers.
You could, yeah. That would be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny. They're not very menacing together because you need kind of one.
No, but isn't that what's kind of funny about it?
Kind of. But they're funny. They're hilarious. So.
And I would like to see them together.
Yeah.
So.
I really do want Danny McBride in that one of those roles, but I could very easily be swayed to James Franco and Dave Franco because those two guys are great. All right. So and then I think Alex Trebek. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be, I wouldn't argue that.
Yeah. And then, who did you have for Rhonda?
Oh, Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz, that's right. That would probably be, you could either pick either one.
Yeah, I think they're both good. Yeah, that's a push.
Yeah. Rosie Perez, we both had Selena Gomez. Wesley Snipes, both had Michael B. Jordan. And Woody Harrelson. Miles Teller. I think that's the way to go.
I like that one better.
Yeah. And then
good. Pretty good.
You just have to put the script together, make it fairly similar.
We met halfway there, and there was a little give and take, and I think we came up with a good cast.
I like it. I thought it was solid, very solid.
It was.
All right, so let's get to
spin that wheel.
I gotta
spin that wheel.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's pretty dark right now.
Oh, before we go, we gotta say rest in peace to Biz Markie. Oh man.
Say he's just a friend.
It's not cool.
All right, so we have the wheel. Light is on the wheel too much.
Here's Markie.
Let me see if I can turn that a little. Why is it becoming more on it? Stop. All right, you can't really see it, but.
I think Biz Markie was only 57.
Ugh, God, it wasn't the best of sheep.
No, I know.
And we land on. Oh, we just did that. Apparently, I didn't erase White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, we got to do it again? Jesus. No.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore of favorite all-time movie characters.
Yeah. It's going to be semi-hard. Two of them off the top of my head are extremely easy. But yeah, that's a good one. Mount Rushmore of movie characters. Okay, I'm going to have to... The way that I do this is I text it to myself, and then I text myself all the answers, too.
Nice.
Yeah, that way I don't forget. Okay, Mount Rushmore of all-time favorite movie
I
characters.
do it on paper, like an old school person.
Look at you. Mount Rushmore of...
All right.
I mean, I know my Washington and my Lincoln right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
You probably know my Washington and my Lincoln right off the top.
I have a basic idea, but be tough.
That's yeah, because my Jefferson and my Teddy are gonna be. I have to really think about that because it's. Okay, hold on. I want to. Wait. There's one thing I want to clear up because if I think I actually might know the other two as well.
Is it all gonna be everything gonna be Harrison Ford?
No, only one. Only one. Only one. Only one of them, and you probably know which one it is.
Well, it's tough. I think I know which one it is, but there's
I mean,
a lot of solid. A lot of
only
solid.
one. I mean,
Harrison
yes,
Ford. You could easily put 3 in there easily.
Here, yes, you're right. You could. Shit, I could. If you know what it should have been? It should have been like your Mount Rushmore of Harrison Ford characters. That would be fucking great. Because then it would have been like Han Solo, Indy, Dr. Richard Kimball, and who did he play as the president there in Air Force One?
Oh God.
So that would have been a good one. I don't even know that would have made my. I don't even know that would have made. Yeah, get off my plane. I don't even know if that would have made my list though. But you know what? Actually, would be my. You know what would be my dark horse for that would be the guy he played in What Lies Beneath, because that was so out of character for him to play a villain, and he did it really well. I thought he did it really well anyway.
He's got a lot of movies.
Okay, no. The question I want to ask is. I don't think this will give anything away. I mean, can it? When we say movie characters, like, does it have to be like? Can their origin be from a comic book, or does it have to just be like this character only ever showed up in a movie? Like it was strictly.
They have to be in a movie. As long as they were in a movie.
Oh, it was definitely in a movie.
Then you can.
The character was in many.
Then
movies.
you can choose it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It doesn't have to be it can be animated. It can be, mechanically built. It could be, whatever. Completely CGI. Could be.
Okay.
And it's a movie character. If it was a character.
So in other words, like if I wanted it to be Thanos, it could be Thanos.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a comic book origination, okay.
He was in the movie.
Okay. Leo Getz is going to be one of mine. Leo Getz. Whatever Leo wants, Leo Getz. Get it? Okay.
He's the Lincoln, always.
They fuck you with the cell phones.
True.
You know what then? I think I already know my 4. I think I got him.
That's quick.
This is great. Yeah. Well, that's what she said.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Ours are going to be so different.
I would imagine they would be. Yeah. But I feel very good about my 4. Very solid. Right. You know what I also like about my 4 is that they're spread out. It's not like there's no overlap of movies, no overlap of even like genres. It's like
mine are going to be like very, very different. Like mine are probably going to be more comedic based, but I don't know. It's tough because picking 4 is like so tough. And this is one of those things, I think with you, your list won't change much over the course of time. I think my list could change day by day.
Oh, okay.
Like, because
mine's really solid.
It's really tough. Really tough. I'm gonna have to really think about this.
Yeah, I've got my 4 very, very solidly. Very solidly. Mm-hmm. I don't even think of them. I'm not even going to overthink it. They are what they are.
All right.
They're there.
I like it. I got one already. I know I have one.
Yeah.
I have one.
My 1 was definitely my easiest.
I don't know if it's my George Washington or my Lincoln, but he's probably one of those. Probably.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. This is tough. This is a really tough one. Really tough. Super tough.
Hey, check this out. I bought this from Target. I found it online. It's a Funko-verse game. It's Jaws, but it's got like a Quint and a shark.
That's amazing.
I don't even plan on opening it or playing it.
I
just wanted it because it's got like these little mini Funkos of Quint and the shark.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, listening, however you took the show in. We appreciate it. We will be back again probably next Monday. We'll see how things go, work-related and summer-related. But we will try and be back on Monday. Hopefully we'll be able to go over if the Yankees should be buyers or sellers then. Let's see if they can go on like maybe a 5 or 6 game win streak. That'd be amazing. But anyway, you can find us on Twitter at Shane and Bri Man, on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man. You can find me on Twitter at EinhornIsFinkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bri_Man. And to quit the great you-know-who, part of the journey is the end. We've reached the end of our show. But yes, to Shane's point, we'll be back next week.
Yay.
I think.
Probably. Most likely. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on in the summer.
Oh, you want to see another collectible I got?
Sure.
Oh, I found this over at Walmart.
Noise.
G.I. Joe classified classified series Cobra
I'm
Commander.
excited for the movie that's coming out, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Oh.
You know what? I am too.
By the way, I saw Black Widow.
Yeah.
Solid movie. Very poorly. They did not treat the Taskmaster like they should have. But other than that, solid movie. Solid action scenes.
I've been debating whether or not to, because I'm still not at the point where I'm ready to go into a movie theater. I've been debating whether or not to get it on Disney Plus Premium Access or Premier Access or whatever. And most of what I've heard has all been really good.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Now, I heard there was a pretty good end credit scene that has some, I didn't want to read about it because I didn't want to spoil it. Because like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards buying it, even though principle wise, I'm against spending additional money because I've already paid for Disney Plus. So it's like, I don't feel like I should have to spend that extra, but like this one, I'm kind of leaning a little towards maybe doing it. Was it a good end credit scene?
It was a solid movie. I'd probably give it. So, I have a big problem with Marvel villains in general. So I would probably give it like maybe 7.5, 8 if I watch it again. Maybe.
That's right around where it is with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's like an 81 on Rotten Tomatoes.
And I
so
thought
you're
they
right there.
started doing well with Taskmaster. They just kind of neutered him a bit.
Wow.
Or her. Or him. They just kind of...
Yeah.
They didn't really... He wasn't the main focal point, but it was just kind of... It was tough because I really wanted to see more of Taskmaster, but you didn't really get that. But
what did you think of Loki?
Oh, the
first season.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I'm probably in the A to A- boat on that. Maybe a 9. Maybe a 9 out of 10 overall for Loki for me.
Yeah, I'd give it the high 8s. 8, 8,
it's
8,
really good.
something like that.
It was really well done.
Yeah. I'd give it like an 8.8, something like that. 8.8.
Couple of episodes that had some lulls, but for the most part, I was really into it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I love Loki, so.
I really liked the way that they took the last episode and kind of are giving you a whole dive into what's going to come up a little bit. And Loki 2 is going to happen. And but I'm not going to dive into what the villain is and all that kind of stuff. If you have, I kind of knew going in, just because the way that they were going and I don't want to get it. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But I kind of knew where it was going. And
but yes, also to your point, they already greenlighted season 2, so that's going to happen.
It's going to be good. And I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Disney Plus, man, they've churned out some really good original content.
Yeah,
I've got to admit, they've done really well.
Indeed, yeah,
they've done really well.
I think I watched something else too. What else did I watch recently? There was something else I started watching that was good.
I am heartbroken over one series that I think is probably going to meet its end because they're having a hard time with negotiating with Paramount Plus, which was Clarice, which was the Clarice Starling, Silence of the Lambs. I was kind of in the minority here of people who liked this show a lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was very dark. I liked the way it was filmed. I liked the characters. I liked the actors that they chose to play the roles. The stories were okay, but again, I was so into the actors who played them, and felt very strongly about, especially the main actress there who plays Louise. She's really good. But it's a CBS show, and then I guess it's supposed to be sold to Paramount Plus, but they've had some negotiation issues where like the cast wants like at least 13 or 14 episodes for the next season, and like Paramount's like maybe offering 10 because I think they're trying to keep like the cost down, because unfortunately the show, while it did not perform well in terms of overall ratings, it did have a pretty solid demographic.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that one's not going to make it, which kind of upsets me because I would have loved to, because that's such a great, I mean, the whole Silence of the Lambs stuff is great, and I really wanted to see more of a continuation of that story told through television, and it just doesn't look like it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. The show that I started watching with my kids. So there was two. One I started watching with my kids. One I started watching with my wife. And the Mysterious Benedict Society. That's on Disney Plus as well.
Okay. I know that bit. I haven't watched it yet.
It is entertaining, and my kids are enjoying it. Like. A lot. So it's like kind of like a superhero, not superhero, but it's kind of like it's entertaining. It's very entertaining, and it's got some twists and turns and quirkiness, and the actors are really good. It's very entertaining. I enjoyed that a lot. So far I've watched I think 3 episodes. I think they might have just come out with the 4th, but I'm not sure. The other one I started watching was Schmigadoon.
What's that?
It's with Keegan-Michael Key and
oh wait, yes, I think yeah.
And
I mean, anything with him I'm gonna watch.
It's on Apple Plus.
Oh man.
Yeah, I still have free access because of the when you buy stuff from Apple, they give you like a year. So I still have it from my phone, and it is. I'm not a big musical person, but it's fairly entertaining. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first few episodes, so I'll continue to watch until my subscription.
If you like
ends.
Keegan-Michael Key, and I know you do,
I love him.
I really love him because I was just, I hate to admit how much I love the Pitch Perfect movies, but I do love them. He's really funny in Pitch Perfect too.
Yeah, he is.
He's really funny.
Yeah,
like the character is great.
As a producer or whatever he is.
He's a producer. Yeah. And like the way he picks on his nephew is so funny. Oh my god, it's great.
He is funny.
He makes him like do laps around like like the office.
It's so funny. I was listening to him like talk to it was like Stephen Colbert or something like that about the show.
Yeah.
And how he was saying like he loves musicals so much, but in the show he has to play somebody who hates musicals. But he's like the director keeps like during the show, like when they're filming and stuff like that. The director has to keep saying, because like they're doing this big musical number, and he's supposed to be like while they're like doing their musical number, and he's like over there like, dancing along, he like, can't stop. So he's like the director has to keep going. Can you please stop dancing? You're supposed to hate musicals.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Hey, I thought of a good. I don't know why. I just thought of a good wheel category.
Oh, good. But yeah.
This is all right. Hold on. Let me work my way through this. Pick a director. This isn't a recast of a movie, but if one of your favorite movies was recast, you get to pick the director to redirect that to direct that movie and why you would want it to be him. So like, let's say for instance, okay, Jaws was going to be redone, and I get to pick the director.
Oh, I know who I'd want to do that.
I actually think I do too. So, but I don't want you to put like a specific movie on the wheel. Let it just be your choice of movie and then your choice of director. But no cast, not a cast, just a director.
So what do I call that?
I don't know. I'm not trying to pick a director for your favorite movie. For your favorite, pick a director for your favorite recast. If you want to just go real short, just call it recast director. If you want to just keep it simple for the wheel. Recast a movie director. But you only get to pick the director. It's not a casting thing.
Okay. All right.
Movie recast director.
All right.
That'd be a fun one.
Okay. All right. I'll put that on.
So like if you were just to say, hey, I want Raiders of the Lost Ark redone. Well, it can't be Steven Spielberg, somebody else.
Yep. Or like Happy Gilmore or Tin Cup or any movie that you want to pick.
Any movie you want to pick.
Recast the movie.
Yep.
Like for me, the easy one for me so it'd be super easy, but I don't know if he would do it, but it would be Jaws and it'd be Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
That would be like easy for me. Okay. So I got to think of a movie that I think would be.
See, I'm not going to tell you who mine for Jaws would be because Jaws will be, if we land on it, that's the movie I'm going to pick.
Okay.
So
yeah, like so for me,
we could. I mean, you could pick Jaws too, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could. I wouldn't because I just feel like it's such a good fit because he's so good with sounds. He's so good at casting movies. He's so good at just like telling a story without having to use words.
Yes.
That like.
He probably would do pretty well with that.
It would just be, like for me, that's like a no-brainer, but
that's pretty good. That's good.
It's real good.
I was going to go outside of the box with Jaws a little on it, but so I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
I like it
because I probably will. I definitely would pick Jaws. I've got to go with my favorite movie to start it. That's a category you could keep up there, though.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's not like that's not like a one and done.
Yeah. We could actually just put movies on the list.
Yeah.
We could put like. Pick a director to recast. Boom.
All right. Well, do you want it? Well, you already did Jaws for yourself. So.
I did, yeah. But for the first time, we'll just do that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
a
favorite, not the favorite.
Right. And then the next movie, we'll
put on there.
Choices.
Yeah.
We'll alternate choices.
Yeah. We'll just say yeah. Sure.
First one's your favorite. Next one.
Not your favorite, but just a favorite. Like
whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Any movie you want, but then after that, we'll put the movie. We'll define the movie.
I like it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. Sounds good.
So you should pick a movie like that, like one of those, like The Dark Knight, but it can't be Christopher Nolan.
Right. That'd be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be tough.
I'd have an idea. Like me some directors.
By the way, one other TV show I wanted to mention real quick that I really have been enjoying because it also made the jump from television to streaming platform, also Paramount Plus. I love this show. My wife watched it, and then I decided to watch it from the beginning and get caught up. The show is called Evil, and it's fun, man. I mean, it's cool because it's like a little bit of a mix of supernatural.
How much does Paramount Plus cost?
So I paid the upfront cost. I haven't even been billed for it yet because they give you like the first month free and then they'll bill you after that. But I paid a year in advance. So it's $49.99. That's the one with ads. $10 if you don't want the ads. Like I have Peacock. That's $4.99 a month with ads.
Yeah, so I got Peacock
Paramount
free
Plus.
because of Xfinity. Xfinity gives it to you for free.
That's nice.
I don't even use it.
No, I do. I use it. I mean, obviously for WWE pay-per-views, I use it, but I also watch a lot of other stuff on it.
Yeah,
I've actually been pretty happy. Like, so I don't know what, like for streaming services, I have Peacock, Paramount Plus, Netflix. I have Amazon Prime Access.
Disney Plus,
obviously. Yeah, a lot of those I paid them all. Like I pay them in advance. I just don't like the monthly thing, so I pay like as much in advance as I can.
Yeah. No, that's smart. It's the best way to do it. You save money.
Like, I did the Disney Plus thing where you paid for 3 years in advance, so still like another year and a half left on that.
Yeah, I did a year.
And I'll do that again if that's offered.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll offer that again because that was a really good deal. It was like $140 for 3 years.
Cool.
I think. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
we will see you guys Monday.
It's time for lunch.
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys.
Bubble guppies.
Stay
Peace
classy.
out. You're frozen too on the. You're just frozen. You're like frozen in like the weirdest face.
Oh, cool! Can't wait to see it. Is it on YouTube? Let me check.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Peace.
Later. Bye.